Good morning. If you haven't already yet, go ahead and open up your week 2 assignment on Schoology. In reference to the contest Mr. Coleman was talking about, I'm going to have some details on your slides next week and how you can potentially give a speech and win that 100 books. So today, as you know, we are talking practices. So you should see on your screen what you can expect today. So today I'm going to explain how the 3 practices are going to work. They're each going to be about 6 minutes. You folks are going to have choice on how you set this up. I will, just like I said yesterday, put the suggested topic on the screen, but you also have all of the topics. So you're welcome to use your iPad to find your topics. The book that this is based on is also in the room if you wish to use that. So first I'd like to start by showing you your assignment. I just want to review what you're going to write down today before we even talk about procedure. Frankly, just to show you that the emphasis is mostly on the practice, not on the writing. This may feel kind of awkward at first, and that's normal. Okay, so this first part you can answer right now, and I would suggest you answer for yourself rather than just copy mine. But first question, so before practice, previous experience or experiences. Describe your previous experience in conversation and or in interviews. How would you rate your skills in these? So again, I'm not grading you on sentences, I'm grading you on content. Here's my example. I feel very awkward during small talk, so I'd say I'm at a 6 for conversation skills. Interviews are easier because I know the purpose, so I give myself an 8 there. Let's go ahead and take a moment and write your answer for this, and then we'll move on. So next, I'm going to show you what you're going to write for these 3 different practices. So the first thing you're going to write, as you can see on the screen here, is who I talked with. So even before you start the topic itself, start by getting one another's names. It is important that you spell it right. That's a good way to show respect for a person. So here I just put 3 random names up. Second thing you'll write is a summary or evaluation of how you did. 2 main things you're going to practice today are active listening, so showing the listener with your body and your responses that you are tuned in to what they're saying. And the second thing you're going to practice is code switching. So that's trying to change your answers and your demeanor to fit the culture of the group. Code switching will probably be the easiest one today because you are all in similar groups, meaning you're all teenagers. So here's an example of what you could write for this. So summary / evaluation. Summary just summarizes, here's what happened. I'm just writing down what our group did. Evaluation is where you say how it worked. Was it good? Was it bad? Why? So I just wrote active listening felt weird at first. I think we did well on code switching because we're all teenagers in the same class. And then you're going to repeat this process for all 3 of them. The only one that's a little bit different is going to be the middle practice. For that one, I want you to imagine that you're answering these as if you're in a job or a school interview. So as if you're trying to get something. So your answer may be a little bit different for the eval on that. Okay, so that's what you're going to write today. And then finally, once we've practiced all of these, you're going to write a short reflection. So now that you've completed the practices, reflect in the space below by including your thoughts, your questions, impressions, and of course, feedback. Since you folks are the first run through of Sp2, it really would help if you let me know what works and what doesn't. Okay, so let's show you how this is going to work procedure-wise. At least this is the plan. I'm going to try and keep it fairly loose so that you have choices and so you can do what's most comfortable for you. Let's get to the slide that has the procedures on it. Here we go. So first off, if I was a student, my first question would be, who am I going to be working with? So I'm going to give you options, and Ms. Grundy is going to help with this as needed. So it's up to you if you want to switch every practice and work with different people, or if you just want to keep the same people. So that's the first thing. Other thing is, I would really suggest those of you who are in hybrid, do this together today. Get it done. So you can either pick a partner, you can pick a group. It's up to you if you move desks so you can sit closer together. We still want to be socially distanced, but we still want to be able to talk. So find that balance. All right. If you see someone's kind of left out, they don't have a group, add them in. Generally, I would say no more than 4 in a group. But if it's a situation where there's 4 of us and someone's left out, please add them in. I think our classes are so small that won't be a big deal today, but we shall see. All right. You decide as a group what topic slide you want to use, or if you want to do one topic or several. So you guys will decide that amongst yourselves. When you are actually doing the practices, it's up to each one of you individually how you want to address the topic. You got 2 choices, depth or breadth, and they're both equally good. It just depends on what you prefer. So as you can see here, depth is where you give examples and focus on one part of the topic. So if the topic is, who's your role model? You can include a little anecdote, a little story. So my example was, my role model is Mr. Gavin. He fought for students all the time, and he taught me to do the same. Now, if I were to cover the same topic, who's your role model, with the breadth model, that's like a wider range. So one's going deep, one's wide. So I could just list role models I've had. I've had several role models, all my grandmas, my dad, Mr. Gavin. Okay, hopefully you get the idea there. So it's up to you how you cover these topics. Here's the basic steps. So find people to converse with, decide on your topics. I'll put up the suggested topic slide, but like I said, you can choose another. I will also time this for you. So after 6 minutes are up, I will put up the next slide and okay, move to the next one. Like I said earlier, get one another's names, write it on your handout, get them spelled correctly, decide quickly who's going to talk first and who will listen, or just start. That's the organic way. Just make sure every person in the group gets to talk and do some active listening. That's the goal. Like I said earlier, this might be awkward at times. There might be some long pauses. That's okay. That's normal when you're learning these skills. So after you feel the conversation on that topic has run its course, if it's before the 6 minutes, you can work on writing your answers together on your handout. You can also, while waiting, preview what the next topic is. That's going to be fine. All right, so here's the types you're going to do today. As I said earlier, your 2 main things to focus on are active listening, showing that you're listening, and code switching. So trying to be in the same culture as the group, trying to fit in, which seems so against my own personality. Like, no, don't fit in, never conform. But in this case, work on fitting in, work on talking. Oh, if I can talk. All right, so your 3 types of practices today are going to be conversation. So first we'll start with that, with New Year's or winter as the topics. Second, interview practice, where you'll answer and ask as if you're in an interview situation. That'll be personal values and courage as far as topics. And then lastly, a wild card, conversation practice. You can either use life stages, that's the one I'll put up, or you can choose any of the topics you like. If you want to go back to an earlier topic because you wanted more time, for number 3, absolutely do that. That's fine. Again, for me, I'm looking to see, are you doing active listening and code switching? I want to give you some practice. Okay. So at this point, if you would please get into your groups, I'm going to put up, I've already put up the topic, which is New Year's. Like I said, if you prefer winter in your group, go ahead and do that. So you can be moving right now while I'm talking. In a moment here, I'll start the timer on my phone for 6 minutes, and you'll get to this. Just pausing so people can get into their groups or their partnerships. Okay, folks, I'm going to set the timer for you. Take my face off of here for now. You got this. 6 minutes, topics on the screen, conversation practice. Go for it. Okay, you have 1 minute left. Wrap up your first conversation. We'll move to the next in less than a minute. All right, folks, so that's a minute. So you've done 6 minutes of your first practice. At this point, it's up to you if you want to stay with the same folks or move to different folks. So this next practice is interview practice. So again, you're answering and asking questions as if you're in an interview situation. So you can see on the slide that personal values is one of the topics. You can also move to the next slide, which is courage. Setting our timer for 6 and go for it. See you in 6 minutes. Well, in 5 when I give you a 1-minute warning. 1 minute left in this practice, so start to wrap it up or write your answers, your prompts. Okay, folks, so that's 6 minutes. Let's move you on to your last practice. So this is conversation practice. You can pick any of the topics. As I said a moment ago, it's up to you if you want to switch partners or groups for this last one. So after this last one, I'll come back on to remind you to do your reflection. Okay, go for it. 6 minutes on the clock. All right, 1 minute warning. So start to wrap up your conversation and head back to your desk. In a moment here, I'm going to talk about, just going to remind you of what to write. All right, Falcon. So I'm going to end the part where I'm talking here with just a reminder that you have the rest of the time to finish this week 2 handout. You should be able to complete it and submit it today. And on the screen here, you can see some options for your reflection. So in this reflection piece, I'm looking on how did it go? So give me your thoughts, questions, and feedback. All right, you got this, and I hope you have a great week.